I want to create a main menu today, a main menu scene. I'm going to go to my latest scene folder, and this is the current scene that we're working on. I'm going to press Ctrl D, duplicate it, and rename it main menu. Double click it, make sure that we're actually in the scene. And I'm going to get rid of the AI as well as the platform. We're not going to need those. And I want to set up the camera. We already have a state-driven camera here called default. Check out my other videos in the playlist to know more about Cinemachine. I'm going to set up the camera here for the main menu. You want to be in front of the player. So adjust the Cinemachine camera however you see fit for the main menu. I'm thinking of something like the Overwatch main menu where you have the character model here and some text UI for you to click on, things like play game, options, exit, and so on. And right now, this doesn't look too bad. Okay, I can fine tune later. I think this is good enough. I'm gonna create a UI section for the hierarchy. So empty game object dash 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 UI. And for the UI, I want to create UI Text Mesh Pro. Import TMP Essentials. Also, make sure that you have Text Mesh installed in the package manager. Text Mesh Pro, here I already have it installed. So I now want to start working on the text. I'll put it somewhere here. Anchor it in the center. Okay. auto size the font, so you can change it with the size just by dragging. And the first option is going to be called Play Game. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I also want more font options instead of just the default font. So I'm going to go to Google Fonts and download whatever I like. I'll use Roboto. So let's download it. And once you're done downloading, extract the file. I want the regular one, drag it in there. And we also had to create as an asset by using the font asset creator in the TextMesh Pro window. Select Roboto regular and simply generate font atlas. Also save it in the same folder or whatever folder that you like. And I drag in the new font. Okay. And we also have some options here. I want the underlay, which is like having a bit of a shadow. Okay. You can't see it because of the dark background, but if I get rid of the background, we see a bit of a shadow behind the font. I'll rename it Play Game, and we want this to be a button, so I'm going to add the button script. Here it is. So now we can click on it, and it's hard to see, but you can see the color change for the font. I'm going to change the colors. I want the highlight and pressed and selected the same color. I don't know what color this is, yellowish orange. So this is the highlight, meaning if I hover, we see the color change, and click also will give you the same color. And you'll see that once I click this, even if I move my mouse around to some other places, we still have the same color. It means this is selected. If I click somewhere else, it goes back to the default white. Now that we have a button that works when you click on it, there's no function related to it. First, let me bring down the real-time label to the bottom. And we want certain actions. such as changing the scene when we click on this button. So I'm going to create a script, but first let me create a new folder called RBUI, and inside this folder I'm going to create a C# script. I'll call it play game button. Drag the script into the button, go in there. We'll start with the usual namespace Roundbeargames, and I'll have a public function here called OnClick play game. And first I'll use a debug. So once you click on the game, we get the debug called clicked play game. I'll go back to Unity, make sure you save the script. And here we have the OnClick option. I'll add the play game object under the slot, and we can look for the function that we just created. Here it is, OnClick play game. So now if I play, so every time I click on this, you'll see the debug message come up here. And to change the scene, we'll simply add a line here. Scene management. And under scene manager, we'll load scene. And we just have to get the name of the scene. I'll get the scene that we've been working on, sample day. Put it in there. And go back to Unity and press Ctrl-Shift-B. Make sure that all your scenes are in the build settings. So we already have the main menu and the sample day scene. Here it is. If your scene is not in here, make sure you go open the scene and click on Add Open Scenes. One important thing before I click play, make sure that this option is turned off. You don't want to be saving this data during playtime for the game, only when you edit stuff. And now if I play and click on the button, we have switched to a new scene. Okay. Later I might have some sort of a loading UI so you don't see the character fall, or I might do something else. You just want to make sure that the player doesn't see this early part where everything's being set up. Okay, and looks like the change is working fine. And I think that's enough for one video. One thing that I would like to change in the following videos is that we've hard-coded this play game button script, which means if we follow this pattern, we're gonna have to create or hard code every single button that we create in the future. We don't want to do that. So later on, I'm gonna create an event system that doesn't care where the trigger is coming from but once you trigger something such as the change scene, that gets triggered, but we're not going to hard code it like this. But for now, we have a working main menu scene, and I'm happy about that. So that's it for this video. I'll see you next time.